Good morning, live from Radio Row. I'm Roy Kessel with Caleb Branham for Sports Philanthropy Network. Very excited to be here at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, getting ready for the Super Bowl coming up, and we're very excited today to have with us Austin Ekeler. Austin is the great running back from the Los Angeles Chargers and one of everybody's favorite fantasy football players because he produces both on the ground and catching the ball out of the backfield. So, Austin, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate that intro, and it's great to be on Radio Row talking with all of you. This is the time of the year where I love to just get into a lot of different conversations about football, about foundations, about business ventures, and you get to do it all in the same week. So it's great to be here.
Well, and I think that energy that you show really tells a lot because looking at your accomplishments on the field, right, most people don't dig in and ask what's behind the athlete, what is their true passion. And one of the things from Sports Philanthropy Network that we always talk about is whole and complete people, right? We love working with athletes that have a bigger picture vision, not only for themselves, but in terms of what they can do on the field, in terms of what they can do in the community. And you really, got that triple header going with all three of those.
Absolutely. And I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important what you're talking about there because there's so much media coverage for us as football players on the field. Like, hey, here's, their stats, here's the fantasy, here's the betting lines. And all week they're talking about football and the matchup that's coming up. And there's really no highlight to the different impacts that we're making off the field in the community. And so when we do get those opportunities, it's amazing when we can actually highlight those and share. And then people see us in a different light. Because when you see me a football player, all my equipment on and things like that, like that's cool, but that dies out. But when you also know about my foundation, when you know about the things that I'm trying to make an impact with and other opportunities that I'm providing to the community, you kind of have a different respect for that person. And so I'm glad you're here with me to help me share my story.
And I think that's always what's interesting, right? Is we hear a lot of the football part of the story. We don't often hear a lot of the Austin part of the story, right? And so take us back in terms of how you developed that love and passion for football.
So I grew up in Colorado, small town, and grew up in the ranch life. And I used sports as kind of like my getaway from working on the ranch, feeding horses, building barbed wire fence, and really got into a lot of different sports. But I was best at football, and football continued to carry me through high school, and then also got my scholarship going into college. And I was using football to pay for my education in college. I wasn't really looking up to the NFL or anything like that, but I was just really trying to get myself established and continue to increase my scholarship at my Division II school and allowing that to increase it and then pay for my school. And I was going into the business world. I was going to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to get into energy management. And so my love of football really came from the opportunity that it gave me to help
and you utilized that effectively.
Pay
like
for
you said,
my
you weren't
education.
necessarily planning to get to the NFL, but you got your opportunity. That process is crazy. Having been an NFL agent and gone through, the whole process with people from pro days and combines and the draft.
So one thing that I've learned along the journey, even though you mentioned it, I wasn't really focused on trying to make it to the NFL. However, the things that I were doing, the principles that I lived by, also aligned with becoming an NFL player. Really, just becoming successful in a route that was, hey, you continue to apply yourself, you continue to increase your knowledge, and then go and apply that at the highest ability that you possibly can, and you're going to continue to gain leverage in that space. And that's exactly what was happening for me in the business space, but also in the football space. And I had an internship. But then I also had the NFL coming and giving me interest in coming to my practices. So I'm looking at both of these opportunities. Like, I could go work in the energy space, but I can't work, at football forever. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I can only do when I'm young. And so I applied all of that energy and went, to the football operations, and continued to have my entrepreneurial spirit follow me along, but really focused on the opportunity at first. And now it's really caught back up to me with my philanthropy.
And I give you credit for having that perspective, because a lot of the players I represented, if you're on that margin, you don't know going in if you're going to make it or not make it in the league, right? And you may get an opportunity in business, but business world will be there, right? The football world, if you're out of football for 2 years, for sure for 3 years, you're not getting back in. And so taking advantage of that opportunity, working hard, and you've had that success and clearly earned it and continue to demonstrate. But
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how you allocate that balance, right? Because football is a full-time endeavor, but you've carved out a niche for yourself and carved out time for both from the philanthropic side as well as a business side.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
Really,
Absolutely. And really, when I first got into the NFL, there's a lot of unknowns to me. Like, how do you become a pro, right? How do I establish myself? What is my role going to be? And so my first 3 years in the NFL were just figuring out those things. How can I get myself established? And it was really applying everything that I could possibly do in my energy, training, right? Doing extra, talking to coaches after practice, getting myself established. And I started to build a reputation. And then after about my third year, really figured out how the NFL works, really knew how to be a pro, really took my training back into my own hands during the off season. And so it allowed me to really control my destiny as far as what I'm going to be spending my time on, because I knew what I needed to do to get myself ready for a season and how to maintain myself through a season. And so I gained that knowledge. And once I gained that knowledge, it really opened up some time, because now I was able to be more efficient and not waste as much time like I was my rookie year, my second and third year. And so with that free time, I'm like, okay, how else can I stimulate my mind and go make an impact into the community? And really, it was during 2020 when everything shut down with the pandemic that I really was like, I want to give back resources like I had when I was a child and when I was growing up, to actually allow people to go and make a better version of themselves as well. So that's when I started to kind of expand the things that I was doing.
Well, and when you talk about that expansion, let's break it down. Let's talk both about the business side, and what you're doing there, as well as your foundation. So, let's start with experience and talk about how that
absolutely. So through my journey in the NFL, I'm backing up and going from small town to LA. And so in my small towns, I had a ton of community support. And then when I got to LA, I also had community support, especially as I started having success. And it was like drinking through from a fire hose, right? Where there's so many people that want to interact with you, so many people that want to, get something signed, or wants you to say hello, or want to just spend a moment with you to get to know you, or tell you how much of a fan they are. And I loved it, but I found myself, I'm like, how can I make this efficient? Because it's not efficient to hang out with everyone, but I know there's value in community. That's where opportunities come from. That's where I was able to continue to broaden my exposure from just different types of opportunities and learn from people.
Well, and I know you love tech, right? You love new things that are going on in space. Talk a little bit about how you're able to leverage that technology to increase opportunities.
Yes, so exactly. So that's where I'm leading, because I'm like, okay, I can't scale because I'm only one person. I only have a certain bandwidth, but technology allows me to expand my bandwidth and also filter down these types of engagements to what I can actually take on and maintain. And so that's why I started my app Experience. And it's really a hub of entertainment. So if someone wants to get things signed, if someone wants to root me on for the week, or let's say we have a bad game and someone wants to pick me up and wants to show me support, like, Austin, I got your back, man, keep going, and give me that support, they can do that through my app called Experience. And so that's what I've been setting out to do, is bring community and technology and athletes together and bring down the barriers of all of the just immense pressure from the community, and just allow it to be, hey, these are people that want to support me, and these are people that this is where you can do it. Because right now we get fan mail and things like that, and people try to DM me and things, but it's so much all over the place. It's not filtered. It's not filtered. So with technology, I'm able to filter all of the good things that us as athletes want to feel, and then also all of the people that want to support us, give you a place to go, and then put it in a technology base and keep it at your phone, keep it in your hand.
And so talk a little bit about, you merge those passions of philanthropy, right, with your foundation, and then the technology of how those work together.
Yeah, absolutely. So just finishing the Experience route, with Experience, it kind of is the same type of concept of what I'm doing with my foundation, which we'll get to in a second. But with Experience, really trying to help athletes get an opportunity to connect with fans, and then also give fans the opportunity to connect on a deeper and more intimate way with the fans or with the athletes that they're trying to support. So if you want to check it out, it's at experience.io, and it's EKS, like my last name, Ekeler, right? EKSPERIENCE.io. And really, my main goal outside of football is to continue to uplift people and empower people and give them the means to push their life forward in a positive way. So that's what I'm trying to do with Experience, but then also the Ekeler Foundation as well. So with the Ekeler Foundation, I have been renovating weight rooms. The weight room was dear to my heart. I learned so many transferable skills there: mental toughness, how to work with people, physical toughness, how to actually be around a team and compete and work together. So that transfers to literally everything that I'm doing, and I know it does for other people in general as well. And so I wanted to go back and go to high schools that have worn down weight rooms and bring that back to life and give them that opportunity so it's there, it's safe. We've done one out in Long Beach, another in Santa Barbara, and have more on the pipeline that are ready to go.
Well, and you talked about the weight room because anybody that's been around a football program understands that the weight room is really the heart and soul of a football program, right?
Yeah.
That's where it's done all year round. That's where it's done
Absolutely.
and preparing for the season, right? The season is a destructive force on everybody's body, and so using that power of the weight room to build that camaraderie and team chemistry is critical, as well as building up your own body to sustain the demands of an 18.
Absolutely. And for athletes, we spend a little amount of time compared to the weight room on the actual game field. The game field is just a 3-hour block, but most of your time is the practice field or the weight room or the classroom learning the plays. Like those are the three things that we spend. And so just having the resources. I know there's high schools that we've been going to where the floorboards are coming up to the ground, or their benches have rips in them, and they're like you have to make sure that you keep it square on there because the bolts aren't in it anymore. And so just when the resources are that bad, right, you're almost discouraged as athletes to want to go in there. It's not as inviting. And so just making sure that those are where they need to be, so that part of their athlete journey is there, and then hopefully that carries over into other parts of their life. It makes generations gives them that opportunity to continue that.
Well, I know we've got a ton of energy here on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. I know you've got a full day and a busy schedule. We appreciate you taking time to join us today. But before we let you go, I want to have you let everybody know the best way to connect with you and with your foundation and with experience, so that they can collaborate and work together to build stronger, healthier, and more inclusive communities.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're interested in learning more about experience and what we're doing to help connect fans and community with athletes, you can check us out at experience.io, and that's EKSPERIENCE.io. And then also, if you want to check out the projects that we've done with our foundation, it's EkelerFoundation.com. And you can check out our projects. We put washers and dryers back into the community, football equipment, weight rooms, all of these physical things that can help generations to come. We would love any support that we can get, because all the money that we raise goes back into the community. And so I appreciate you having me on.
Well, Austin, thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Caleb Branham, I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network. We want to thank our viewers and listeners for being with us today, and thank Austin for taking time out of his schedule, and remind everybody to live generously. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.